Causeway Street Podcast. I'm your host, Joseph Pavone. Joel Pavone. Mr. Sean Dutra.
Hey, this is Leon Poe, man. You listening to Causeway Street Podcast.
What's up, y'all? This is Kenny Anderson.
Hi, this is Tyler Zeller from the Boston Celtics.
Y'all listen to the Causeway Street Podcast.
For all you new listeners out there, I'm your host, Joseph Pavone. I'm joined as usual by my two co-hosts.
I'm Sean Dutra. What's up? So
Yeah,
like
talk
long
about
walks
yourself.
on the beach.
There you go. Joel Pavone. What up?
I'm a Pisces.
The most
It
romantic.
leads off with that.
The most romantic sign in all of Zodiac.
Oh,
You couldn't tell by my voice already.
oh,
Sexy. I'm the producer of this ensemble that we call Causeway Street. In case you missed it.
Hey, Bill Walton here, Celtics 1986. You're listening to the Causeway Street Podcast. Yeah, come here for nothing but the truth. This is where dreams come true. Thank you, Boston, for my life.
where are we going?
You guys are such homers.
It's your boy Tay Rozier. You're listening to the Causeway Street Podcast. Now listen to my boys Joe, Sway, Joel, and Sean.
All right, welcome into another episode of the Causeway Street Podcast. We got our fourth man in, Zach Peliquin, joining us. Of course, I'm Joseph Pavone, Joel Pavone here, and Sean Dutra. Zach, thank you for joining us.
What
I
up,
mean,
Zach?
you're not in the building, but it's close enough. I mean, you've came down to the Causeway Street studio enough, and you know what? Having you on the phone is probably going to be best for you because now we're not going to have you stay, before and after like we always do. We don't let Zach go home for a while. I mean, this doesn't go on air, but we end up keeping Zach around until like 2 a.m. and Zach's like, yo, I got to go. We're like, wait, Zach, we got to talk a little bit more about, what's the Cavaliers situation right now? You know what I mean? We don't let you go home. So
What's
you know
the
what?
Cleveland
Now
Steamer?
you can chill on your Now you can chill on your couch. We can talk some NBA and then you can still be in the comfort of your home. So I appreciate you checking in. What's up, Zach?
Not too much, John. We got some playoff basketball coming up, and I think it's almost down to an hour countdown at this point.
You know what?
I'm pumped. I'm excited. I'm ready to go, and I know all you guys are. Even the pre-show, just having a little conversation. It's getting heated.
Yeah, it's getting heated a bit. I mean, it's playoff time. That's what happens,
Yeah.
It's funny because
exactly.
it typically here on Causeway Street, it gets much more heated closer to the finals. So you know what? If it's getting this heated and the playoffs hasn't even started yet, that means we're in for a pretty good NBA playoff. So that's what we're going to do on this episode of the Causeway Street Podcast. We're going to break down both conferences. We're going to break down who's going to advance to the second round. And we're going to talk about why each team will make it past. And we're going to have to start off with, of course, the Celtics and Bulls series. So, Zach, what's your initial impression of this series? What sort of stands out to you the most? Because I know there's so many headlines going into this one. I mean, whether... You know what? I called it angles in our last episode. That's the best way to put it. There's so many angles on this. Whether we're talking about what Rajon Rondo still has left in terms of playoff basketball, what Jimmy Butler is going to do against the Celtics, what Dwayne Wade's going to do against the Celtics, because Dwayne Wade put together, in my opinion, one of the better postseasons we've seen out of Dwayne Wade last year. And, of course, this year is a little bit different because of the whole injuries and everything leading into this one. But what's your initial impression of this, and how good do you think the Celtics will do against the Chicago Bulls in this opening round?
Oh, you're right. There's a ton of different storylines that we can really go into with this series. But to keep it simple and keep it short and sweet, when it comes down to it, this is one of those teams coming into the playoffs that I think the Celtics has a clear-cut advantage in terms of their talent and in terms of the way that their roster is laid out. So I think Brad Stevens and this team has a huge advantage over the Chicago Bulls team. I mean, let's be honest with ourselves. Dwayne Wade and Rajon Rondo are not who they were 4 or 5 years ago. Very, very different players than what they've been in years past. Jimmy Butler is still probably the best all-around player in the series, but Boston's talking about having one of the top 5 MVP candidates in Isaiah Thomas, the best big man in the series in Al Horford, and probably the best man-on defender with Avery Bradley as well. There's really no reason that Boston shouldn't be able to take this series. Honestly, I think they take it in 6 or less. So I feel pretty confident about this one. I love the way that this laid out for Boston. I think this is the perfect opponent for them going into the first round.
So I'm glad you mentioned the big man. It seemed like right at the trade deadline, the Bulls gave up. They just ditched Taj Gibson and was it McDermott?
McDermott.
Yeah, McDermott.
McBucket.
Yeah, for Cameron Payne and nothing. So like they do they even want to be in the playoffs? Like it seemed like something where okay, they traded their best big man in Taj Gibson and now it's you're in the playoffs. Dwayne Wade, Rajon Rondo now miraculously are not pains in the asses because the playoffs are coming around. I just don't think that this team has any type of character or any real aspirations to actually be in the playoffs. They sort of just landed here because I think it was willed by Jimmy Butler. But if this team is going up against the Celtics, that this is the Celtics' year to capitalize on it. I just don't see, and Zach, I don't know if you feel the same way as me, I just don't see this team putting up any type of fight against the Celtics in this series.
No, I don't think so either. I think Rondo is going to be an interesting one because obviously the return to Boston. This, I think, is the first time that we would have seen him in a playoff atmosphere. He was out west ever since he left. So he is a player that I would expect to have a couple of decent games in this series. Butler's obviously going to be putting himself on a pedestal to show up what he has because I think he's trying to get his way out of Boston, into Boston, out of Chicago at this point. So he's going to be putting it out to really make sure that everyone knows what it is that he can bring to the table. But Wade in a 7-game series, I just don't think he has it physically anymore. And then, like we said, in the front court, I mean, are we really afraid of Robin Lopez? The crappy Lopez brothers going to take over? Like, I'm sorry, it's just not going to happen.
Best NBA fight of the year, Robin Lopez. I'll give him that.
Right.
Best NBA fight of the year.
What was he? That old Simpsons character.
Sideshow Bob. Yep.
There you go.
Watch out.
Like, come on, man.
All right. Well, let me ask you this then, Zach. How big is the rebounding aspect in this series? Because let's face it. I mean, the last 4 times these two teams, the season series between these two teams, I feel like the rebounding game has gone to Chicago's favor, and I think that's going to play a part in this game, or the series, excuse me.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe Chicago is the best offensive rebounding team in the Eastern Conference this year, so that's definitely something to keep in mind.
They're also top 10 in defensive efficiency, too, so don't sleep on that.
Exactly. So, we're not talking about a team that's lacking in overall talent. I think they've got a few players. But like Sean said, I think one of the biggest, most damning things for Chicago coming into this series is quite honestly that with the talent that they have, and probably at least one Hall of Famer, future Hall of Famer, I should say, on that roster, we're looking at a team that just, as soon as they go into the locker room, what happens to this team? Because it feels like they're literally all against Brett Hoiberg. They don't want to play for him. And I think there is a little bit of that feeling that as soon as things go downhill, that locker room becomes toxic. So one of my biggest things with this series is, can Boston go into games, get early leads, and put some adversity on the other side of the court and make Chicago really show what they're made of? Because I think if they can get up early, especially in Boston, get up on Chicago early, beat them, get a nice solid cushion for a lead, and I think Chicago's just going to let them roll right over them. That's why I don't think this is going to be that good of a series. I gave a little bit of a benefit of the doubt to Chicago by saying just because of the talent that they have, that maybe they push it to 6, but ultimately this could very easily be a 4-game sweep for Boston as well.
All right, Cleveland and Indiana. Now, this is going to be a bit interesting because I feel like the Cavs, obviously, they haven't been in this kind of shape going into the postseason, so it's going to be interesting to see how they respond. I'm not picking the Pacers to actually beat them, but I feel like Indiana has a chance to win a couple of games here. Joel, what do you think about this? I mean, we know that Jeff Teague, I don't know the severity of his injury, but, if he's not 100%, that certainly plays a part. But let's not forget about the fact that Paul George is still on the Pacers, and let's not forget about the fact that they were, going into the regular season, one of the teams that we expected to be one of the top seeds in the Eastern Conference. That's not the case. They're in the 7th seed. But what are the chances that the Pacers can actually steal a couple of games here or potentially push the Cavs into like a 6 or 7 game series?
Well, if the Cavs, turn the switch on like they're been known to do whenever they feel like, beating someone, I think the Pacers, they can squeeze out one win.
You giving them one?
I'm giving them one.
You're going to get one. They're going to get one.
I think it's all based on Teague too, right? I mean, playoff Teague?
Yes and no.
Yes and no, because Teague hasn't been Teague
Yeah,
of
I know.
old.
Yeah, it's been
Well,
strange,
it's
right?
weird
this
because
year.
he has stretches when he does it. Like I remember, I think it was March or so.
Yeah.
He had a stretch where he was looking like his old self, and then he reverted
But don't forget
back to his old self. Oh, well, his this year self in terms of just being sort of a streaky shooter and not much of a producer like he used to be when he was with the Hawks.
don't forget Lance Stevenson, blowing into
Hey,
LeBron's ear.
That's the best part
That
about
could be-
this series.
That could be that could give him a game.
I
That's
didn't
the
even
best
think
part
about
this
that.
series.
That could win him a quarter or two. I don't know.
By the way, did you guys see Lance Stevenson? What did he do stupidly? Like dunked?
Oh, when he pissed off all the players and
They were
but why was Toronto so mad about that?
They were so
why
mad.
are you
Yo,
so mad
they
about
were
that?
It was
so mad
It's
because
something
it's Lance
personal.
Stevenson.
It's something personal
Well,
with
Tucker?
Because Tucker was the one that got the most
Yo,
pissed off.
Tucker was
out of
ready to
that.
give this dude the hands. He was
Yeah.
getting ready to punch him in the face.
Yeah.
Zach, who do you think is going to win that series? Oh, I should say, in how many games do you think the Cavs going to win that series? That's what I should say.
Do you really think I'm going to take the Pacers? Or what?
Greatest
No,
upset of all time if that happened, if you ask me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Greatest.
This one, it couldn't be that close. However, I will say this. Indiana is one of the few teams in those bottom seeds that I was very happy to skip out on as a Celtics fan. They have one of the more talented rosters of any of the teams that are seeds 5 through 8. And to stay away from Miles Turner and Paul George, Jeff Teague, and that group of players who are actually really good players, I think was a little bit of a dodging of a bullet for the Celtics. In terms of Cleveland taking them on, I'll say they take them out in 5 because I think LeBron is going to want to get through these series as quick as possible and get to the finals as fast as he possibly can. So he's going to be motivated to mow down whoever's in front of him. So let's hope it happens that way because I think if that happens, that only helps Boston in the off season with someone like Paul George who's going to be looking to make his exit from Indiana or Indianapolis, wherever it is.
The irony of this series is Lance tried out for the Cavs and they passed.
Yeah, he did. They're like, we're good with you.
And LeBron wanted him. Believe it or not, LeBron
I thought
wanted
you were
him.
going to say the opposite.
No, LeBron wanted him, and they were like, "No, we're going to pass." And now he's playing. He's in Indiana, and now they're about to have a first round matchup. And you know what's another ironic part of this series here? At the beginning of the season, we talked about these two teams being 1 and 2 on paper.
Yeah.
Or at least top 3 or 4.
Yeah.
I was giving them 4 the lowest.
Well, I think a lot of people did pick Indiana over Boston.
Yeah, we had Boston at the most part being a 3 seed.
I had
Maybe
Boston
push
at
it for
3
2.
and I had Indiana at 4. That was my
That,
initial
when we're
prediction.
Yeah,
we're
so
talking
it was
about
like
predictions.
it was pretty much
It was pretty much Cleveland,
throw 'em in a
Toronto,
hat.
Boston.
Yeah, throw them in a
Indiana.
hat. Toronto, Indiana, Boston, and most people would pick Indiana and Toronto over Boston.
Yeah.
I mean, I think one thing too that we haven't mentioned yet is the Cavs. The Cavs aren't firing on all cylinders right now. They've probably played some of their worst basketball over the last couple weeks of the season. So, I mean, yes, they have been able to in the past to turn a switch. And you know what? If they were able to go up against an opponent like the Bulls or like the Miami Heat, if they snuck into the playoffs, they would be fine. But, I mean, Paul George is, I don't know. Is he the second best player in the series?
Over Kyrie? I don't know. That could be a
he's the
toss-up.
third.
That's probably a toss-up.
It could be a toss-up.
But
in
I'm
my
just
opinion,
saying,
it's the third because
for-
he's not playing the way he did last year or 2
for,
years ago.
but
for a
his- but
2
his-
versus 7
last year,
seed,
excuse
though,
me.
you normally don't have that type of discrepancy where it's a toss-up, you know?
But it's defensively, he's the better player over Kyrie.
Yeah.
If you want to give him that, all right.
Agreed.
And
yeah.
when they're both on, when Kyrie's on.
When
he's
Kyrie's
gonna
on,
stop.
forget it.
When Kyrie's on,
When Kyrie's
yeah.
on,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Cavs
yeah,
are going to
yeah,
win.
yeah.
But
it's true,
Paul George over the last month to get into
Has
the
been a
playoffs
beast.
has been on a tear.
He's been a beast.
He's been like,
He's
he's been the Paul George that we knew that he was supposed to be.
He's been the number 1 seed,
Exactly.
Paul George.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Zach, Bucks or Raptors? And I love this matchup for a lot of reasons, not only because of the size up front, but because of the entertainment factor. You got Giannis doing this thing, of course. You have the Serge Ibaka factor thrown in there. The Raptors are certainly looking like a different team than they did 1 year ago.
How are you not going to mention DeMar DeRozan? You're going to mention Serge Ibaka over DeMar DeRozan?
Because obviously DeMar DeRozan is DeMar DeRozan. I'm just saying, like the fact that you have Ibaka up front, that helps them. Think about it. If Ibaka's not on this team,
I get it.
I don't know, man. If you ask me, honestly, if Ibaka wasn't on this team, I would say the Bucks have a chance. But with Ibaka being there, I still pick the Raptors.
Well, really? Ibaka's that much of a difference maker for you?
Up front, yes.
I mean,
they need him
before-
in this series.
A month ago, right when what's his name? Wow,
I'm not
can't
saying
believe
set
it's-
in stone. Sean.
Lowry.
I'm
When
just saying.
Lowry was, they said he was going to be out for a few weeks, and then Ibaka, started playing like Ibaka of old.
Mm-hmm.
That helped him grab the 3 seed.
Yeah.
But imagine if Lowry was healthy. You think
You know what?
they'd be challenging, I think, Cleveland for that 2nd seed as well.
You know what's funny
Yeah,
about
that's true.
Lowry too is when I talk to people who I know like really follow basketball. When I talk about the Raptors to them, I'm always scared of DeRozan, and they're like, "What about Lowry though? Like Lowry, if Lowry is
you sleep on Lowry, man.
I
I'm
do
telling
sleep
you,
on
Lowry's
Lowry.
a beast.
No, I sleep on Lowry because I feel like he's hit or miss. Like if he's on, he's one of those guys.
Yeah,
like
when they're both
he's
when-
streaky.
when- no,
That's true. He's
when
streaky.
they're both on,
they're almost
watch out.
Oh, forget it.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
But Lowry has a tendency to not be on
In the playoffs,
compared
especially.
to DeRozan.
DeRozan.
Especially in the playoffs, Joel. Remember?
Yeah, I know.
We've seen
I know.
Lowry go for like 1
Right,
for
they had,
15
they had
stretches.
they had a chance to do something to push Cleveland, really push
Yeah.
Cleveland last season.
and Lowry couldn't get
and
together.
Lowry kind of choked a little bit.
Yo, this
Yeah.
dude was taking shots at 1 a.m. trying to get his fucking
Yeah.
his swag back.
And remember
Zach,
that,
who you got in this one?
okay.
Oh, my fault. Go ahead.
Well,
Remember
remember
what?
earlier in the playoffs too, they were having trouble with Miami. They were
Yeah.
having trouble.
Well,
A lot of that had to do with Lowry.
Yeah.
Let's ask Paul Pierce about how he
Yeah.
deals with Toronto.
they were so
baby.
happy when Paul Pierce went out west. They were done with him.
Oh, Paulie boy, how you feel?
Yo,
no,
Paul
but that's
just-
you know what? You know what
just
though?
ruining the
That
Raptors'
was-
lives for
that-
3 years straight.
That was one of the reasons why I wanted Paul to come back to the
Yeah,
Celtics.
right.
Just in case we got the Raptors.
Being the Atlantic Division, I think he would have helped the Celtics win at least 2 games in
Yeah.
that series. But Zach, yeah.
Who you got in this series?
I'll tell you what, I love this series. Out of any series in the Eastern Conference, this is the one that I would have my eye on if I was just a casual NBA
Oh, you smelling
fan.
upset? You smelling upset?
I'm not going to go upset, but I am going to say this. This is a series that we get to see what Giannis Antetokounmpo is really made out of. And if he can push this one the way that I think he can, because he is so talented, we're talking about a 7-game series here where he could really announce himself as one of those real big stars in the NBA. Not just a numbers guy that you see throughout the regular season. So watch for him to really take this series over, but I think Toronto's just a little bit too deep, and ultimately they pull it out in a really exciting Game 7. I like this series a lot, though. It's going to be fun to watch.
But it's the Raptors, though. It could go 7.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You know what I mean? The Raptors sometimes need a few games to figure it out.
Exactly.
Jason Terry goes off for 26.
There you go.
Yo, all I'm saying.
Michael Beasley.
Starts doing the jet all over the court.
Thonmaker. I mean,
Yo,
it was a
Thonmaker
beast
was
the
like a
other
beast in that game. I know it was a borderline exhibition game.
What's the rookie
But
name?
Thonmaker was
Brogdon.
Malcolm.
Brogdon too. Yo.
Malcolm
He's a-
Brogdon.
I
no,
think he
the
might be a
Bucks.
sleeper.
The Bucks do not have another good player. Maybe Middleton.
I mean, the
Other
Bucks
than-
had nothing
other
to
than
lose though. At the end of the day,
That's what I'm
the
saying.
thing.
That's a
But
dangerous
they- but-
combo with young dudes.
And they go deep. Like they can go
Yeah.
deep.
And then you got the
Like-
biggest douchebag of a coach ever in Jason Kidd, who just doesn't give a fuck.
Like you forget about Beasley. You forget about Beasley too. Beasley's one of those guys that can come over and take over a
That's what I'm
quarter.
saying.
Yeah, that dude had the most neutral face
But-
after
Yeah.
the game.
Jason Kidd
was just like, yeah, guess we lost.
Jason will go to Michael
Like,
Beasley and he'll
What was
go.
the score?
Yeah, Jason Kidd will go to Michael Beasley and he's like, you know what?
Where's the weed?
Take out Lowry. Well, that would be after the game. Take out Lowry for me, and he'll do it.
Yeah.
That's what Jason Kidd doesn't give a shit.
Oh, and Zach.
Yes.
You can buy a ticket to the Giannis Antetokounmpo bandwagon right through me. Thank you, because
boy.
you
Top
were the
five.
dude.
Through
Top
you or
five,
through Siki?
top five.
The SeatGeek gap.
SeatGeek gap.
Use the SeatGeek gap to buy that ticket to the Giannis Antetokounmpo. Because
Use the code word Causeway if you
I'm
get that
pretty
discount.
sure you were the guy that was giving me a lot of bull crap about putting him in my top 10. A lot of crap.
Yeah, look.
I
This
know.
is where he has a chance to
Yeah, this is his
justify
chance
that
to
salary.
justify
Yo, I,
Exactly.
I,
All right.
I know
All right.
bull crap is not
Fair
in your
enough.
vocab, so I'm surprised you.
You know
even said
what?
that.
You know what's very strange? I've been saying bull crap a lot lately.
Like it's
and,
part of
and
the
people
thing.
have been calling me out on it. So they're like, no one says bull crap anymore. And
People
I'm
either
like,
say bull or they say bullshit. They don't
yeah.
say. They don't say.
I was
crap.
like, bull crap. I know bull crap is I think my new
I
thing.
haven't heard bull crap since I was like 6.
That's very funny because somebody the other day goes, "Did you just say bull crap?" And I was like, "I don't know, did I?" And he was like, "I haven't heard that shit since I was like 4, dude." But you know what? This is bull crap.
All right, Wizards and Hawks. Zach, who do you got?
This is a good, well matched up series, but I think the Wizards take care of this one fairly easily. They've got the firepower with John Wall and Bradley Beal, so I'm
They better.
saying, I'm saying Washington takes this one maybe we'll say it goes 6, but ultimately they've got the firepower. They should be able to take care of it.
I don't know, man. The Hawks, though, they love to create. They love throwing like a wrench in people's plans.
It's funny because since the All-Star break, they're like technically one of the hottest teams in the NBA.
Yeah, and I technically, we mentioned that Celtics are gonna, advance to the second round, but I don't want the Celtics to see the Hawks. I don't mind the Wizards. I mind the Hawks. Something about the Hawks.
Really?
It's their coach. I feel like they know how to play against the Celtics. They just match up well against the Celtics, and that's not a good thing. For the most part, when it comes to the C's.
I think that I'm not too scared of the Hawks. Actually, I think in the regular season I am, but like Tim Hardaway Jr., what is he gonna do? Like he was their big guy down the stretch there.
It's more Schroeder and Millsap is.
No, I know. Yeah, they're the big players, but like the reason why they were so successful down the stretch is because Hardaway Jr. just decided to play like. He's like an all-star. For
pretty
10
much,
games,
since they traded away, which I still don't understand that trade, but they traded away. I'm drawing a blank. Yeah, the 3-point shooter.
Oh,
Korver. Ever since they traded Korver away,
could you
Tim Hardaway's been getting mad burned.
Yeah, he gets a lot more open looks.
Yeah, and plus he's gonna be a free agent, so he's trying to win that contract with somebody.
Let me tell you why I'm not scared of the Hawks. Dwight Howard. That's why I'm not scared of the Hawks.
That's why I didn't bring him up.
That's why I'm not scared of the Hawks.
It's more about Millsap and Schroeder.
So you're telling me Gortat's going to take care of that matchup?
Marcin.
The Polish hammer?
Nah, man. It's going to be Markieff.
Oh, yo, Markieff.
That dude's kind of a beast,
scary.
No,
I don't. I'm not talking about scary.
No, I know what you mean. I know
he's
exactly
just scary.
what you mean.
He's just a scary dude.
That's what I was just going to say. One
scary
person.
dude.
You mean like cosmetically?
Yes.
Okay.
Like,
he's a
I
scary
thought you meant
dude.
the other way. I thought you meant he can really go off when you're feeling it.
Yeah, out of the brothers,
NBA,
he's the one I don't want to fuck with.
In the NBA, you're in a dark alley. Who's the last person you want to see?
Markieff
Morris.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. He's not in the NBA anymore, but I was going to say still Kendrick Perkins.
Perk obviously owns. This is the
but
Kendrick Perkins trophy.
We know Perk.
So what are you gonna?
We know how to deal with Perk.
This is the Kendrick Perkins
You're gonna pull out your Celtics uniform? Like, nah, man, I'm all Celtic, bro.
No. We'll just say, yo, thank you for 08. That's it. That's all we're gonna say.
Because like we know him, like he's gonna be like, Joel. What's up, Joel? What's going on, man?
But I feel like we know how to deal with him versus Markieff.
But Perk won that award 8 years in a row.
All I gotta do is throw a basketball at him, and then he won't catch it. So then we run.
Yeah, give him a bounce pass.
Give him a bounce pass to Perk, and then he'll be like, "What?" And then
He'll
you
be
just
struggling.
run, and take off.
Yeah, but no.
All right, hold on, real quick. Before we get into the Western Conference, I just have to remind everyone, like, if you want to catch some of this playoff basketball, which I'm sure you do, if you're a diehard Celtics fan, the best way to do it is through the SeatGeek app, and the best way to do it is through your phone. If you download the SeatGeek app and you enter the promo code Causeway, you can get yourself a $20 rebate right now. Download the app, head to the settings tab, and enter the keyword Causeway. That way you get a $20 rebate. You can save money on those expensive playoff tickets. And you know what? They have the best deals around. There's no other outlet where you can get these type of deals and save money and then get a $20 rebate on top of those savings. Do not waste any time right now. Download the SeatGeek app on your phone. Enter the keyword Causeway. All you got to do is go to the settings tab and enter a promo code, and that is Causeway to get yourself a $20 rebate right now. SeatGeek, it is the best way to go. Get yourself some playoff tickets and check out the Celtics throughout this opening round against the Chicago Bulls. So let's swing it over to the Western Conference. We have
West.
A few interesting matchups. This is the first matchup I want to bring up because there's actually some people who think that this could be the upset of the first round.
Clippers.
I thought that for a second. Yep, Joel said it. But then again, I said, you know what? I don't know if Utah has it in them, but at the same time, it wouldn't shock me. The Utah Jazz, LA Clippers. What do you mean, whoa?
Defensively,
these guys
they're
have
one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah, but these guys have the playoff mileage on them.
I'm not.
You're not buying into this upset?
That's not an upset. If Utah beats the Clippers, that's not an upset.
That's true. You know why? Because historically, the 5th seed has been the 4th seed more.
Yeah,
It's
but
their 4 and 5 seed. No,
on paper though, if you're the Los Angeles Clippers, you're supposed to win this game. Oh, this series.
I mean, just because they got Doc, they got Chris Paul, they got Blake, they got DeAndre.
Yeah, playoff battles.
Hey, guys, they got Paul Pierce. That's all you need to talk about here.
The truth.
Yeah, the 15th best scorer in NBA history right now. Okay,
and I'll be damned if I see Paul Pierce get knocked out in the first round. I will be damned. You know what? I don't care what Doc says.
Yeah,
fucking break it up. break up the whole big three. If they lose in the first
Careful,
round,
man. You're gonna break up that mic.
I'm about to break.
Just
Relax there.
bundled himself with the mic.
And I thought I was a little emotional when it came to like Paul Pierce and Doc Rivers.
I'll be damned if I see Paul Pierce get knocked out in the first round of his last NBA season. I'll tell you. You know what? Regardless of what happens in this playoffs, they have to break up this team. But if I had to make a prediction, I don't think it'll be in the first round. Zach, am I the only one?
Yeah, you are.
You think it's gonna be an upset?
It's not an upset. If there's a consensus, it's not an upset.
All right, well, Zach, you know what? Your boy Gordon Hayward, if he's averaging 30 points in this series, I don't want to hear you talking about not wanting to see him in a Celtics uniform. Because you were talking that smack about a month ago. You were so against that.
But that also helps Blake Griffin to make an easier decision to make his way east, and that's what Zach would want, right?
Wait,
Exactly.
are we really taking
No,
Blake
we're not
Griffin
even.
over Gordon Hayward?
No, I'm just
According
mentioning.
to
We're just talking
Zach.
about free
Zach,
agents.
what he wants.
We just talk about free agents. That's all we're talking about.
Is his name Gordon or Gordon?
I think it's Gordon.
Bogdan Giricek.
All right, Zach, explain to me why Utah pulls up this upset. How they pull up this
They've got
upset.
depth. They've got depth. They've got
It is an upset, Sean. Sorry, go ahead.
No, well, it is and it is. What's
like
the win differential between the two of them?
It's like the 9 seed beating the 8 seed in the first round of March Madness. It's not an upset.
Yeah, it's a coin flip.
Yes, exactly.
I look at the Jazz. I honestly think they're better at 5 positions than what the Clippers are. Do the Clippers have the 3 best players in the series? Possibly. I don't think Chris Paul's as good as he's been in years past. I don't think DeAndre Jordan is good enough on the offensive end of the floor to really be a legitimate top 3 player on a contending team. And I think, honestly, Blake Griffin's eyes are wandering. I don't think he wants to be a Clipper anymore. I think he wants to find himself a new home that appreciates him a little bit more with Doc Rivers, who I think has, behind closed doors, kind of given it to him and really hasn't been all that supportive of him growing into the star that he very well is at this point. And, I don't know. I just think Utah is taking on a wounded team in LA. And honestly, I haven't seen a team, or I haven't seen this Clippers team in probably 2 years really make me feel like that they had a shot at doing anything special. So I think Utah's got it this time. They pulled the quote unquote upset here.
Yeah, that was their best run 2 years ago.
And here's the thing too: is
when they lost their 3-1 lead to Houston.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was.
You can talk about Gordon Hayward and how great of a year he's had, but Rudy Gobert is probably going to be the first All NBA team center this year. He's going to get first team honors this year because he's been a stud. This team has been able to just shut down everybody defensively, everybody. And yes, they have a slow pace of play, but they've been able to shut down everybody because of Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, but who's going off on the other side though? That's my thing.
We talk about
who's there, Isaiah Thomas?
No, it doesn't matter.
There, Isaiah Thomas?
No, because that's Utah's thing. Is Utah is able to slow the game down to a snail's pace
cohesively.
Yep, and they're able to.
So they're the Celtics of the Western Conference.
They are able to. No, they're better than the Celtics at controlling the pace of play. They can dominate the pace of play, and
that's why those were huge wins.
Yeah.
At the time, right? Because they were at the time ranked the number 1 NBA defensive team.
Yeah.
The Jazz. You got don't laugh at me when I say this, but Boris Diaw, who's got championship experience.
I thought you were gonna say George Hill.
I was going to say him next. George Hill, who's been deep into the playoffs.
Don't forget about Ingles. Don't sleep on my boy Ingles.
I was going to say my boy Camel Joe Johnson.
I hate Ingles, man. Oh, Joe Johnson.
So
is his nickname Camel Joe?
I like to call him Camel Joe.
I like Camel
He's
Joe.
cool. He's cool and collected no matter what the situation is.
I like that.
And he can come up with a big shot at any moment too. Still, so. They got a good group of veteran and young guys, Utah Jazz. So.
All right, so it's not an upset if Utah wins.
No, I didn't say that, but I'm just saying that it's going to be a good series.
All right, well, if you don't think that's an upset, let me ask you this. Oklahoma City versus the Houston Rockets.
You don't want to hear what I have to say.
That's my
wait.
CTV.
I thought we were talking about the other one. Oh, this series?
Yeah.
This series?
This shit right here?
This shit right here?
Yo. If the Thunder advance, do not be surprised.
I'm
telling
watch
you right
every
now.
single game.
I don't believe in the Rockets. All right?
I second you on that.
I don't think they have the type of offense to sustain the type of success that you need in the playoffs. Zach, are you on the same page or are you on the other side?
I'm all amped up.
This guy's singing Kendrick over here. Be humble.
I actually, you know what? For as much as I was not on the same page in the last series, I am on the same page on this one. I think Oklahoma City, I think they've got the experience in the playoffs, and I think they have the player that you need to win this series, and that's Russell Westbrook. James Harden and the Houston Rockets, good team, nice team, fun to watch. But what have we seen over the last, 10, 15 years with Mike D'Antoni teams? As soon as the playoffs roll around, they fold up. The game gets more physical, it gets more defensive, and they're not scoring as well as they do in the regular season. I think the stats are all leading to Oklahoma City having a nice series here, and I think they're the ones that are eligible going to be able to pull it out. Russell Westbrook, man, unbelievable season. I wanted to deny it for so long throughout the course of this year because he was so good, and I usually hate the best player in the NBA. And this was just a year that I couldn't even deny it. He was unbelievable, and I think he's going to bring that right into the regular season. So
this
give me OKC.
This is the most entertaining series in the entire playoffs, in my opinion.
100%.
Entire first round.
100%.
This series is going to be 7 games, in my opinion, and it's a coin flip to who wins it.
Nah, man. Damian Lillard said he's going to knock out the Warriors in 6. What are you talking about?
Dollar Dame said that?
Yeah, Dollar Dame said that.
By the way, the Rockets.
He rapped that into a song?
No, he said that.
You sure that wasn't a punchline?
No, he said that with a straight face.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
He was dropping dimes.
He was dropping dimes.
Was Evan turning in the back ringing?
Yeah, he was
throwing up his hand.
He
like,
was like, yeah, when he said it.
He's like, and I'm going to drop 7.
Yeah.
But
I'm going to drop 7 of those 50 points between the two of us.
So back to this Houston series. If those threes ain't falling for Houston, it's going to be a long series. Actually, it's going to be a short series for Houston.
It's a huge if, man.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, teams like that don't, unless you're the Warriors, that's the only team I can think of that's able to pull that off.
They don't D up. They want to score as quickly as possible, and those shots ain't falling.
Last time I checked, they don't have Splash Brothers. They have James Harden.
They got a bearded fella.
Don't get me wrong. He's a great scorer, but they're not. There's no Splash Brothers there. There's
May
no
I just say something?
Top-notch shooters other than James Harden.
I'm the biggest Russell Westbrook supporter you'll probably meet.
Really?
I think his mama might have something to say about that.
Probably. Mom beats me, but second biggest, right?
Maybe his wife might be in there too.
So this is my thing.
Kevin Durant's mom, probably.
I'm not convinced that
the real MVP,
that the Thunder really have enough to win this series because Russell Westbrook is obviously the MVP over James Harden, hands down. Not even a problem. Like that's obvious. My only thing is that the Rockets have 2 players on their team that are going to be up for the 6th Man of the Year award between Eric Gordon and Lou Williams, right?
Probably Eric more than Lou.
Well, I'm just saying Lou's in the conversation.
I mean, Lou started a lot for the Lakers, so yeah, maybe.
He's always in the conversation, right? Whatever. They're both 6 men. There's both 6 men off the bench right now, so they go deep on the guards, right? So, like
Ariza when he feels like playing,
Ariza as well. And you know what? There is just not enough talent on, and you know what they say, like talent wins. So if it was the Thunder versus maybe, if they went against the Clippers, maybe I'd take the Thunder. But when you're, pretty much getting your biggest advantage is Russell Westbrook, right? But they get to counter with James Harden. That knocks out your biggest advantage to be just a little bit. You see what I'm saying?
Perimeter-wise, okay, but
They're deeper.
What about up front, though?
Up front,
other than Gibson,
I love myself some Steven Adams. I love myself some playoff Steven Adams. No, playoff Steven Adams is different than regular season Steven Adams.
I'm sorry. What I meant to say with the Rockets, other than acapella.
You just called him acapella.
I like to call him acapella. Here's his name. I'm gonna call him acapella. Other than acapella, you know what I mean? And
alto
and Nene.
Alto, soprano.
Yeah.
For the longest time.
Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? Okay. other than acapella and fucking and Nene. Who else? You know what I mean? You got. They're deeper. I think the
they got that.
The Thunder are deeper up front.
They got that underhanded free throw shooter who will be.
There
key,
you go.
Who will be key down the stretch. But I don't know. I think it's going 7 in the series. I agree. But I got to give the edge to the Rockets just because they're
the
deeper.
home court.
They're home court and they're deeper.
Me and Sway can attest that home court advantage is not that great because that stadium does not get full.
What about the chicken finger dinner cup though that you were talking about when you came back here though?
That was a media thing.
Oh, it was a
Yeah,
media
yeah.
thing.
I don't think.
I
I don't think the fans enjoy that.
They had that section where what are they called again? They're like I forget what they're called. But this like 70s guys.
The
and
big nugget buggers.
They got drums and they make all kinds of noise and people kind of just take pictures of them. But it's not so like the rest of the crowd doesn't engage the way that those guys do. But at least they have those guys to get everyone hyped up and get the drums going. And
one more point about this series.
Get people jacked up.
One more point about this series.
Whenever you're ready.
I sometimes just have to pause.
No, I know. Go ahead.
Fuck it. Whatever. Forget it.
All right, Spurs and Grizzlies. All right, Spurs and Grizzlies. Who you got? Is it even close?
I think it's going to be a lot closer than you think. If the Spurs wanted to take anybody else, no. If the Spurs had to pick an
Memphis ship
opponent.
has sailed, man. I really,
No.
I believed in Memphis. I believed in them.
If Memphis
was
was 100%, I'd give them a little more credit. But
Are they
got
not?
no parts. No, they got no parts. Tony Allen is out. If right now he's indefinitely out. They don't know how long he's going to be out for.
But
He's got a strained calf.
Gasol
is still
Zebo,
Gasol and Zebo still there.
and Conley.
And Conley. Those are your three right now that they're gonna rely on
Green?
them heavy. No, Jeff
Green
he's
left
in
like
Orlando.
2 years ago.
There's another Green. There's another Green there. I forget his first
Oh,
name.
J. Michael. I like J. Michael Green.
Yeah.
But J.
Michael
Michael
Green
Green almost came to the Celtics at the trade deadline, but they then they decided that Memphis didn't want to
Memphis is
trade
like we're done dealing with Boston.
yeah.
Zach, who you got?
I think the Spurs take care of this one pretty easily. I mean, you got Kawhi Leonard, who's just behind that upper echelon of MVPs out there.
Dude's a beast.
LaMarcus Aldridge is still a very solid player, and I think they're going to be able to find him more minutes than they were giving him during the regular season. So he should be equally as effective, if not more effective than he was throughout the regular season. And then you get the old guy Tony Parker kind of running the show from the point position. So I like San Antonio. I think they should be able to take care of this one pretty easily. I'll say Memphis scraps out maybe a win or two here, but ultimately I think San Antonio puts this one to bed before Game 6.
The Spurs are old. The Spurs are washed up. The Spurs will go to 6 with Memphis.
You bite your tongue. Washed up. No, you talking like that?
No, the Spurs are going to go to 6.
No, they still have a top 5 player in their team though. So
Yes, they're going to go to 6 though.
All right. Last but not
Memphis
least,
will push them to 6. I think that's a real thing.
6.
6.
Nah, maybe.
Memphis is never an easy
Maybe.
out in the first round. You know that.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good
you
point.
know that.
That's true.
You know that.
Grit and grind, Memphis.
That's it. You go into Memphis, you just don't come back.
You got to be
out
careful
the
in Memphis,
same.
man. Those Grizzlies will pop out of nowhere.
No, they won't.
I know. I know.
All right, last but not least, the Portland Trailblazers against.
Walking in Memphis.
I meant actual Grizzlies.
Walking with the shoes under my feet.
I was waiting for you to say that. All right, last but not least.
in Memphis. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Jeez. All right, last but not least, Portland Trailblazers against the Golden State Warriors.
I just told you how the series is going to go.
I really like this Portland Trailblazers team going into the series. And Dollar Dame is calling an upset. Zach, you calling him bluff, or what are you saying about that?
I think this one's going to be a lot closer than people would think going into it.
On.
I think
Just because you hate
Portland
Steph Curry, that's what.
Don't get
I
caught
think
up
Portland
in the
actually
hype.
pushes this one to Game 5. Yeah, they win 1. It'll be real close.
Oh, that's a nail biter. Right?
Zach with the sarcasm. I
thought he was
So
dead
Dame,
ass.
so Dame drops 62. Evan Turner drops 7.
Dropping dimes.
And McCollum drops 30.
Dropping dimes.
That's the formula to beat the Warriors for them.
All I gotta say, Zach, is you're forgetting about Myers Leonard. Okay, that's a
Oh,
game changer. All right, buddy.
Is Nurkic playing in this one?
It's still not. Hold on. It's still not. Hasn't been released yet. If he'll be back, even though he broke his leg 2 weeks ago. But they're saying he should be back in the series at some point.
All I want is Nurkic
he
to
could
play.
He could give JaVale McGee some issues down low.
All I want is Nurkic to play.
So he can go off
His post-game interviews. Have you ever listened to a Nurkic post-game?
Oh my god!
Oh, just no, for real.
All right, let me give you a backstory because the last time I watched a Portland Trailblazers game with Sean, and he did a post game interview, and I don't remember what the first question was, but he literally he just didn't make any sense after he answered the question. But that's why Sean's laughing so hard.
Like English is obviously his second language, right?
And it's funny because the NBA TV guys were they were making fun of him.
English is obviously his second language, but he wasn't listening to the question.
Yeah.
And then you could just see in his eyes, when she was about to stop talking, he realized fuck, I gotta answer this question. He goes like, oh, nigga, you don't play basketball. And go to place, nigga. We're very good game today. Yeah, awesome. Portland.
Something to that effect. And then afterwards, Karan Butler's in the NBA TV studio. He just goes, well, I don't know what he just said, but he played a really good game. Like instead of playing it off,
just skip it over, right?
Yeah, it's just play it off and don't even. But of course, Karan Butler just like calls him out, so then everyone in the studio starts laughing. But
how many times do you rewind that shit?
Yeah, well, it's funny because we were watching it with Tim. Tim goes like, "Yo, did you guys hear anything he just said?" I'm like, "Yeah, he sounded a little off," but then he rewind, he put it back, and it was like, we didn't pick up one single word.
This is the best.
But you know what? Because of last year, I thought this Portland team would be like a 6 or 7 seed. So I'm almost like upset at the fact that they have to face the Warriors in the first round.
No.
What do you mean? What look what they did last year, and you would expect them to build on that, and they sort of went backwards.
They
this year.
signed Evan Turner, so that should have been,
You think they're kicking themselves about that? I think they are.
They should have that should have been like the solution to all their issues.
No, they're kicking themselves about that.
You know who's the problem on that team? McCollum. They have a good guard there, but they need to trade McCollum for like a power forward. You know who McCollum would
You're
fit?
just mad because he let you down during your fantasy.
You know who
league.
McCollum would fit really well on? The Clippers. Blake Griffin for McCollum. How about that?
That's a terrible deal.
Why?
Blake Griffin's going to be a free agent, too.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, but he has an option, right?
Yes, he's got a player option. He's not going to exercise it, though.
Yeah, he's trying to get paid.
I'm just saying, I think Chris Paul and McCollum work a lot better than Dame, Lil, and McCollum. But that you can't have two shooters in the backcourt, two guys that need the ball in the backcourt. McCollum and Lillard aren't meant to last. They had magic in a bottle there for the year where McCollum came out and they had the crazy backcourt, but you just can't have that much. All of your talent stacked in guys that are under 6'3", 6'4" in the NBA. You just can't do it. It just can't happen.
All right, well, those are all the first-round matchups. NBA playoffs. I'm telling you, it's going to be an entertaining
Blazers are going to beat the Warriors.
I can't wait.
Blazers are going to beat the Warriors.
I can't wait to see how this all plays out. But those are our matchups. Those are our previews. But before we get up out of here, we cannot leave you before we get into In Case You Missed It.
We got it In Case You Missed It plan, man?
Yeah, motherfucker. Joel, what did we miss?
In case you missed it.
Our first In Case You Missed It going into the postseason.
In case you missed it, Isaiah Thomas was asked if he considers himself an MVP candidate. Obviously, he said yes. So then he decided to rank. They asked him to rank, MVP candidates.
Isaiah, why'd you answer that?
But surprisingly enough, he didn't rank himself as number 1 or number 2. He ranked himself as number 3.
Yeah. There you go. I agree, Isaiah.
Number 4 was the Claw, Kawhi Leonard.
Claw coming at you.
And number 5, Braun. He put Braun at number 5.
What about Giannis?
No, he didn't say anything about Giannis. He just said his name 5. 5 players.
Top five.
So he put himself in there.
That's fucked up.
Unless you want him to bump himself out and put Giannis in there.
No, I'd bump LeBron.
Okay.
What else we missed?
I'm sorry. In case you missed it.
Why did you apologize?
Just apologizing for this nice little chuckle I'm having here.
You can't laugh on this show, man.
Sorry.
The Celtics, based on point differential during the season, they averaged 2.7 points in terms of either winning or losing their games.
That sounds accurate.
Yeah. Are ranked the worst first seed since the 1979 Supersonics from Seattle.
Oh, that was a good team.
1990.
They were a good team. You know why? Because they won the NBA Finals. They
won the championship.
Won the championship.
Right?
Dennis Johnson, DJ, right before he came to the Seas.
He was Rookie of the Year that year, I think.
I don't know about all that, but yeah. I don't know about all that. No, I'm serious. I'm being serious. I'm not trying to be a dick. I really don't.
That was a dick thing to say.
Sean looks so mad right now.
I didn't delve further into that.
Would you fucking live that, Sean? You were there for that? You saw that? You saw the ceremony?
The last team.
I love DJ. He's my favorite player in the '86 Celtics.
The last team to be ranked number 1 in the East and win 53 games. All right.
Sorry.
I'll let you finish.
No, I'm just going to say, who has a favorite player, the 86 Celtics? Did you watch that team? What are you talking about?
When you look back on the '80s Celtics, Dennis Johnson was my favorite player. Like, if I was growing up during that
But what
time
do you
period,
base that on? Research?
highlights.
And if that's the case, why wouldn't you pick Larry Bird? Like, why would you pick him?
The fuck is wrong with you? I like Dennis Johnson, man. Why can't I like Dennis Johnson? I don't see why this is a problem.
That's like an 8-year-old saying, like, oh, my favorite player was James Posey in that 08 Celtics team. That's my favorite. Like, motherfucker, you weren't even alive when that happened.
He's like, but you know that defense,
He'd be like, what you know about James Posey? I'm like, I fucking watched it. What are you talking about?
No. Dennis Johnson was a starter. No, that's why. If I was like Greg Kite's my favorite 86 Celtic, then you could be like, shut the fuck up. But I like Dennis Johnson.
That's where you draw the line.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. All right, great. Go ahead, Joel.
Jesus, man. I don't know why that was a big deal.
The last...
He was a fucking rookie of the year, I think.
You didn't watch the fucking game? All right, whatever.
Somebody Google that shit.
The last Eastern Conference team to finish with 53 wins as the first seed was the Detroit Pistons in 2003. They made it all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals, but didn't advance. So there's that. In case you missed it, Russell Westbrook, only because we haven't talked about him, because we've been on hiatus for a little while. Russell Westbrook, obviously, he finished the season averaging the triple-double. First time since Oscar Robertson, over 50 years ago.
Yep.
Oscar Robertson was present at the last home game for the Thunder, presented Westbrook with a special recognition award. He vouched, that's the word I was looking for. He vouched for Westbrook as being the MVP of the season. Mr. Big O. My question to you guys is, can he do this again? Or can anybody average a triple-double?
If you give him the same team that he has, or at least something close to it, I think it's possible. Whether that's a good thing for the Oklahoma City Thunder. I mean, we talked about them potentially pulling an upset, which would be impressive, which would be fun to watch. But at the end of the day, could this team go to the Western Conference Finals? No, I don't think they're that talented. But at the same time, it's obviously impressive what he's doing and what he did this year, and I think he could do it again. But at the same time, I feel like Westbrook is the type of guy that, believe it or not, I think he wants to make that leap into Western Conference Finals / threatening to get into the NBA Finals. I think that means a lot to him after the way things went down last summer with Kevin Durant, and I think that's sort of his goal to bring. I mean, that's the reason why he agreed to that extension at the end of the day, right? I mean, he wants to be Mr. Oklahoma City, and he wants to be the guy to carry the torch and do it on his own, which I respect that. In today's NBA, you don't see that all the time. I respect the hell out of that, and I think that's at the end of the day, that's his end goal. I don't think he's the type of player, and maybe, Zach, I'd love to hear your opinion on this because, I feel like a lot of people may think that he cares so much about being Mr. Triple-Double. I think at the end of the day, he's doing it because he knows that he has the roster to do so, but I think moving forward, he wouldn't prefer this type of season to repeat itself.
I totally agree. I totally agree. I think they're going to be looking to fill in some of the weaker spots of that roster once they get into the offseason.
They have to, yeah.
So I think some of those stats are going to be a little bit more difficult to get to, such as rebounds. They're probably going to try to get a little bit stronger up front, and I wouldn't be shocked if they try to get the ball out of his hands a little bit more in terms of being a passer as a point guard, and maybe try to see if they can find someone who can shift into that off guard a little bit more often. That combined with the thought that I think this year is going to end up taking quite a toll on him physically.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to have to start to think about kind of pulling back a little bit in terms of his playing time and being a little smarter with how they use Russell Westbrook. Obviously, he's a superstar, obviously an MVP candidate year in and year out, hopefully for the next 5 or 6 years. But at some point, you have to realize that you can't just throw him out there for 40-something minutes a night and hope he can go out and put these types of crazy stats up there, because you're going to need him to last 82 plus whatever you want to do in the playoffs.
Yeah, I sort of disagree with the last half of that, because I do think they're going to build around him, but I think Russell Westbrook is in his prime right now. He's just entering his prime, and he's in total fuck you mode to everybody right now.
Yeah, because of what happened with
Kevin
Durant,
all of this is still running off adrenaline. He's still running off adrenaline. It's not going off anything that is going to tire him out.
I just feel like if he's averaging a triple-double, that team is not going to the finals.
100%. Well, no, I get that. I'm just saying.
Oh, I thought you were saying you disagree with that.
No, I think that next year he will see a drop off because they're going to get better as a team. But
right.
I don't think it's because Russell Westbrook's tired. Also, Sorry, guys. Dennis Johnson won Finals MVP in 1979.
Sean, you didn't watch any of those games.
What you don't think
That
I
is
was?
my point.
What you don't think I was alive? What you don't think I was
okay.
alive?
And the scenario I said about this hypothetical 8-year-old, whether he says Kevin Garnett or Paul Pierce is relevant. The point is that he didn't watch any of that.
You know what?
I'm gonna look at him in the face and say, like, you didn't even live that shit. I don't want to hear your opinion on what you saw.
So I
on
can't.
on who you think was your favorite player in the series.
My favorite player was Dennis Johnson.
Okay, well, my favorite player in the 1912
you better
World
nail
Series
this.
was
You better fucking nail
Babe
this.
Ruth. Yeah, Babe Ruth was my favorite baseball player in that series, in the World Series.
About to Google to see if he was in the World Series. In
I think he
1912.
was. I think it was 1912. I'm not sure.
Well,
But do you get what I'm saying though? It's like you didn't live it.
so we're from Boston. You want to know who your old school heroes are. I can't just because I don't say Larry Bird doesn't mean I can't have a fucking opinion about it.
You can't say someone is your favorite player in that series if you didn't watch the damn series. All right, my favorite player in the Celtics' first championship back in 1950. What was it?
Tommy.
1957 was Tommy Heinsohn.
100%, man. No, or Bill Russell.
Why wouldn't it be Bob Cousy? What's wrong with you guys?
Or
Seriously?
Bill Russell. That was a stacked team, dude. Now, let me.
That's a terrible comment. None of us saw that series, so how are we going to pick a favorite player in the damn
I
series?
saw Dennis Johnson coach the WNBA better than I ever seen any. No, the D League. The WNBA too. I think he did both.
He coached the Clippers as well.
Yeah, that was not a good look for him.
No, well,
Donald Sterling did not enjoy Dennis Johnson being a coach. Did Donald Sterling die yet, or what?
no, man, that would have been news. That would have been one of my in case you missed it.
Thought I missed it. Was
No.
hoping that was coming up next.
All right, what else we miss?
No, just to
Dennis Johnson
put a bow on the
1986 best
Russell
player.
Westbrook talk. He did break the single season record for the most triple doubles.
Thank you.
But you predicted he was going to have over 45 triple doubles.
Don't get into this. I predicted that he was going to average a triple double this year.
I asked you like a month ago on in case you missed it. How many is he going to end up with?
Yeah. I said 40.
And
So
I
he's
said,
right.
I said,
all, 40.
I said all of them as an asshole because I was dismissing the
Yeah, 'cause
question.
I said how many games were left, and you were like, "Oh no." Then it ended up being like 45. I'm like, "No."
Well,
So I
at the
bring that up.
beginning of the year,
so he won.
I told you
So he
that
got-
Russell Westbrook was going to average a triple double in the year.
Okay.
Did he do it?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I'm surprised you got that.
Just give me some fucking props, man.
But
I
you-
fucking nailed that shit.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
In case you
Oh,
missed
get
it,
the fuck out of here, man.
we gave you props in the last episode.
Man, wasn't
Anna gave you props.
it wasn't official yet.
Anna gave you props.
Even though
It wasn't
conspiracy
official.
theorists would say that the team helps him get those triple doubles, but okay.
See,
No, don't bring
You
that up.
called it.
Don't bring that up. Don't bring that up.
You called it.
Don't bring that up.
Why? You about to say
Stevie
something?
Wonder can Stevie singing his song.
That's why I told you not to bring it up.
You want to keep talking that shit?
In
I'll
case-
fucking
in
call
case
out
you
Stevie
missed
Wonder
it.
all day.
In case you missed it, the Orlando Magic have fired their general manager Rob Hennigan after 5 seasons on the very last day of the regular season.
Well, Rob Hennigan didn't really do a good job down in Orlando, did he? Who the fuck is Rob Hennigan? Bobby Davidson's fucking cousin, dude.
Bobby.
Bobby Davidson. Hey, Robbie, dude. How's the Magic doing down there? Well,
In case you missed it,
we just got Serge Ibaka for all of our players.
it's official, guys. The date has been released for the Lakers and Celtics 30 for 30. It's a two-part.
Oh, I can't wait.
It's a two-part documentary. It's coming out on June 13th.
Oh,
So
nice.
it would be
The day before the finals? Probably
no,
something
the
like
final,
that.
I believe the final started like June 9th or something like that.
Yeah,
I might be wrong.
It's
It's
right
in the middle of
around
the
that
finals.
time. Yeah.
It's in the middle of the finals. I saw the preview for that. I sent you guys that. And it's going to be good.
I can't wait because Dennis Johnson played against the Magic, and he's my favorite. Played against Magic Johnson. He's my favorite.
Been against the
Celtic.
Magic or Magic Johnson?
You got me all screwed up now. Talking about Bobby Hennigan and fucking shit. Now I got to talk about Magic Johnson.
Who was your favorite Laker of all time? Kurt Rambis?
James Worthy,
James Worthy? All right, cool.
North Carolina, bro.
Jerry West.
No, James Worthy. I said James Worthy without hesitation.
No, that's good. That's good. That's a good pick. I like James Worthy. James Worthy, when I started watching basketball, was still in his prime. So he was doing his thing.
See, he was watching it.
I
watched him
remember
play.
James Worthy on North Carolina in 1982.
I also remember Eldon Campbell. That's
Eldon Campbell.
Yo,
what about
Cedric Ceballos?
Oh, you know who I liked on that squad was
Quick.
Nick Van Exel,
Nick the
man.
Quick.
Nick Van Exel throwing that TV monitor at the ref. That was awesome.
Oh man, that's someone you didn't want to piss off. That dude was a scary dude.
Yes.
But he used to cradle the ball when coming down the lane.
You know what?
Yeah, he was a beast.
Let's get him on the podcast. What the fuck is Nick Van Exel doing right now?
I don't know. It's a good question, yo.
What is Nick Van Exel doing?
Sway, take care of that, Sway.
Let's get in touch. He
has a house in Nebraska.
Yo, Kenny Anderson. Get us Nick Van Exel's number, dude. I know you still boys. Could you imagine that one-on-one?
All point guards are cool with each other now.
They just play one-on-one all the time. Kenny Anderson versus Nick Van Exel. Who you got, Zach?
Ooh, good matchup.
Oh, it depends. How old are they? Because if they're in high school, Kenny Anderson blows them away.
I'm talking right now. My guess is Nick Van Exel.
Who's older?
My guess is probably same age. My guess is
Van
Nick,
Exel probably by a few years,
Yeah,
but not by a lot.
But I think Nick Van Exel probably weighs 400 pounds now.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
I'm pretty sure he was an alien, though. So he
Right. I think so, too, yeah.
I think he was an extra in Men in Black 3.
Or
he might have been. Zach's like he's no longer with us. He's not.
Or he was just he was just like the.
He forgot how to play basketball. They erased his mind.
No, he was the stunt double for Sam Cassell in the Rocket Finals in the beginning.
That's brutal. In case you missed it, I can't finish off like this in case you missed it. Playoff edition without mentioning the Knicks, even though they're not in the playoffs and have been eliminated for quite some time.
I thought you were going to say someone died.
No, quite some time now.
DeMelo finally quit.
Phil Jackson. The Knicks picked up Phil Jackson's last 2 years of his contract.
That's a great move.
Well, you might as well let him finish out his plan, I guess. Might as well.
Ducha's boy
going so well.
Ducha's boy Zinger skipped out on his exit meeting because he's frustrated with the Knicks management. And
shut the fuck up.
The dysfunction of the Knicks. Yes.
Come to Boston, baby. Let's do it.
Are you serious?
Here we go. Bring the Zinger to Boston.
Poor Zingis is fed up.
He's
really?
fed up. He's fed up. He's
really?
had it. He's had it.
You know what? I was all on
It's a delayed reaction, but he's fed up.
I was on the boogie bandwagon
That's
forever.
like Kelly Olynyk saying, I'm fed up the way things are going on in here. It's not quite like that, but you know what I mean. Like it's like you haven't been around that long to say you're fed up.
That's like Jordan Mickey saying, like, guys,
no,
I've had it.
This is ridiculous.
I fucking had it. I'm not getting any playing time. You're not shipping me up to up to Springfield, and they're like killing in the playoffs right now.
Nah, you know what it is? You know what it is though? He's up for a payday. He's trying to get extra bonus incentives.
No, Porzingis just probably doesn't want to play for a fucking dysfunctional fucking team.
But Porzingis is good. Zach, what do you think about Porzingis? I like Porzingis. He's a good player.
Zinger.
Who doesn't like Porzingis?
Zinger? I love Zinger. Zinger's what was he, the unicorn?
I'm just so surprised he's speaking out right now. That's hilarious to me.
Oh, New York does that to everyone.
Playing in New York will do that to you. If you love life and you go to New York, you won't love life anymore if you're in New York, Nick.
It's time to ship him out. Let him free. Oh, man, that's funny. That's a funny story.
This, in case you missed it, is brought to you by CLNS Radio. Make sure to download the CLNS Radio app on your mobile device, Android, Apple, to listen to the best podcasts and all the sports, because it's mostly Boston sports.
Yeah, they're starting to really branch out.
They've expanded
now.
themselves. If you're and I'm saying this seriously, I'm not being an asshole. If you're a Sixers fan, if you're a Lakers fan, there's a podcast there for you.
Yeah,
obviously there's Patriots, Bruins, Red Sox. And, of course, the Celtics. You can listen to there's
a lot of Celtics content. There's a lot of NBA content. I mean, and they cover everything in the world of sports. I mean, whether we're talking football and baseball, of course, just started back up. They really got you covered. So you only have to
Bruins, too, in the
app.
playoffs. They're doing their thing so far.
CLNS.
There you go.
There you go.
That's what I was waiting for.
You got the Bruins going. I mean, yeah, absolutely, man. Download the app. And also, make sure you check out their YouTube page over at youtube.com/CLNS. I mean, you want to check out all the content that they have, especially throughout.
Sway's on there a lot, too.
Throughout the playoff coverage of the Celtics. You don't want to miss out. It is CLNS Radio.
What? And also the Bruins playoff coverage. And the Red Sox in the beginning of their season, they're kicking things off. So the CLNS Radio app. We should all make sure you download that bad boy. And CLNS. can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat throughout the playoffs because we're going to be killing it with the coverage. Go to causewaystreetblog.com. Zach actually has a couple pieces up there on
great piece by Zach.
Keys to the Celtics beating the Bulls in the first round and a wrap up of the 2016-17 Celtics. That was a pretty good piece as well.
Yeah.
And obviously playoff stuff. All playoff stuff.
And if
Absolutely.
you haven't read any of Zach's writing, it's fucking good shit. So check that shit out.
Zach, of course.
Oh, thanks, man.
Where can they follow you?
This goes without saying, of course. Good stuff.
Where can they follow you on the interwebs, on Twitter?
Either at OTW Sports Radio on Twitter, or if you want to get me my personal, it's at ZAP Sports 508.
Yo, Zach, what are you doing over there, man?
Yeah,
Something's going on.
Zach's
I don't know. Zach's a little busy right now. All right, Zach, we're going to let you go. Yo,
All right,
appreciate
Zach.
you checking in, of course.
All right, guys. Talk to you later.
Peace. Oh, and that's it for...
In case you missed it.
All right, well, that's a wrap for the Causeway Street Podcast. Until next week, of course, you know where to follow us. And until then, we'll talk to you
Until next
then.
time, we'll be consistently putting out episodes.
That's right.
Later.
Later, guys.